Evil never dies. It just changes shapes. Tonight is our Halloween special. So no cinema rewind for you guys tonight. We're diving into David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends.
We'll break down what worked, what didn't work, and how this trilogy reimagined and divided the Halloween legacy.
So just sit tight, guys. We prepared a special little trailer for you, and then we'll jump right back in.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the deathless eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What happened in here? Tell me what happened. Or did Michael kill? Did Michael kill again?
I believe in Michael Myers, a deranged serial killer, the boogeyman.
Well, you should.
6 bodies, Sheriff! That's what I've seen between here and Richmond! A filling station in flames! I tell you, Michael Myers is here, in this town!
Someone told you my suggestion is termination. Yes, it's the only serious one for Michael. There's nothing to be gained from keeping evil alive.
These eyes will deceive you. They will destroy you. They will take from you your innocence, your pride, and eventually your soul.
Holy hell. Guys, welcome back. I'm GC from Face the Movies.
And I'm Jordan from the Movie Den.
Guys, we're so excited to kick off Halloween week with the Blumhouse trilogy. Tonight's episode is something special. Obviously, man, we're talking about a legacy here. 11 films of Halloween, and especially these latest ones are so badass. We're talking about Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, and the trilogy that reignited the Halloween franchise for a whole new generation. With me, as always, he already introduced himself, which is Jordan from the Movie Den. And joining us is our very special guest, Nick from Lost River Drive-In, who's bringing his killer insight to this divisive and fascinating trilogy. So let's bring him on in. What's up, Nick?
What's up? Did you mean I was bringing my equally as divisive insight to this divisive trilogy? Because if that's the case, yes, that is accurate. Bravo on that. I got so hyped when I was watching that. I got to a point where I was quoting Malcolm there. I was like, yeah, I was going along with it. I was like, let's go. Yeah. Happy to be here, and definitely always happy to talk about these movies, even if it riles people
Dude,
up.
you know what? Hey, it's starting the conversation, getting people going, getting people thinking. I mean, that's the way to do it, man. And I'll tell you, like, I had a stupid smile on my face the entire time watching this. I was like, man, it makes me want to hit the gym now afterwards. Like, I'm so freaking pumped.
I could run through a brick wall.
Yeah,
oh yeah, run through a brick wall.
Now, before we get started, let's jump into the chat real quick. Say what's up to everybody joining us tonight. We've got here first person joining us, Allie. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday.
Go on, Allie.
And we've got Alexander J. What's up, Alexander?
What's up?
And then we've got PP Dangler's been waiting since 9 a.m. for this episode.
PP, my buddy.
Dude, we got you covered, brother. We've got you covered.
Man.
Let's see here. Allie's like so confused. That's funny. Allie, I figured it out, Allie, after they didn't go live for like 10 minutes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't doing streams at 9 a.m., y'all. I don't. I hardly even want to get up for work at 9 a.m., let alone doing a stream. My God.
Let's see here. Oh, we got Steven here. What's up, Steven?
What's up, dude?
And then PB Dangler says, a Halloween Master Nick. Saying what's up.
A master in my own mind. Sure.
And then Ali says, Nick is a Halloween guy? Question mark. Exclamation mark.
I feel like I'm starting to take that title. People keep calling me that. And I'm like, I guess that's my thing. You know, hey.
You might
Dude,
as well
you
at this point.
Yeah, man.
I
You need a
know.
belt, like one of those WWE belts that has Michael Myers on it. And it's just, it says King of Halloween.
Yeah, come and take it. Come and take it. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing I just recorded that I'm going to upload tomorrow is going to be titled as Halloween H2O Aging Poorly. So, yeah, I'm finding different ways to talk about these movies, different specific little things about each movie that I can stretch into an entire video. And I've actually had people like say in the comments, like, I appreciate that you're not doing like clickbaity. It's you're taking a topic or you're asking a question and you're stretching it out into a video. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing the whole, let's break down this one scene. Is Michael Myers secretly a CIA agent? Like none of that, bullshit clickbait stuff. That's not my
Dude,
thing.
and I applaud you for it because I hate that shit. Like I hate when you put in the time. There's so many videos to watch. So when you click on something and you're excited for it, ends up being nothing of what was advertised. I mean, dude, we should be able to start suing people for false advertisement at this point.
It's just people trying to get ad revenue.
Man.
That's really what it is. They just want to get eyeballs on it. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, you do you, I guess, but I find that disingenuous, and I won't be subscribing to channels like that.
Well, and that's the thing too. They're thinking short term, and in the end of the day, this is a long term game, especially YouTube. So you want to make that good first impression. You want people to subscribe to hang out with you, and eventually become friends. I mean, dude, I remember subscribing to Jordan, loved his stuff, and look at us now, hanging out, making these videos and stuff like that. So.
I had just realized that I hadn't subscribed yet to both of you, so I just did while that intro was playing.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
That's my bad oversight by me.
No worries, man.
I don't even watch a lot of YouTube anymore these days. I really, really don't. I feel like when you're in the space of where you're like working with it like every day, I don't want to open that app. Like I'm like, now every now and then something will catch my eye and I'm like, okay, I'll watch that. But once you've got a video uploaded and ready to go and you've responded to all the comments of the day, you're like, go away.
Once you get a peek behind the curtain, it changes some things.
And there's so much content to take in. It's like, man, I still got to work a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yep,
exactly.
Yep.
Dude, Steven, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, brother. Glad you liked it. And then we got Eli in here. What's up, Eli?
What's going on, dude?
Guys, follow Eli's example. Don't forget to slash that like button and sub to all these awesome channels. Let's see here.
Yes.
Now, let's jump in, guys. Let's get started, man. Let's get the conversation going. I normally with these type of episodes, because this is a little bit uncharted waters, because we have usually the structure for Cinema Rewind, as everybody knows. But for this, I would normally ask, when was your first time that you were exposed to these films? Obviously, they came out in 2018, so it wasn't too far ago. However, what I do want to ask you guys, and we're going to start with you, Nick, because obviously you're an honored guest. When the 2018 Halloween reboot or reignition of the franchise first was announced, how did you feel about that?
Well, I mean, my channel goes back all the way to 2009, and I didn't really upload. I would do like once a year, and it would just be like something random, and I'd just be like, oh yeah, because I didn't really know what YouTube was. I didn't start taking it seriously till like COVID. But I remember the announcement coming down, and I was jazzed. It was so exciting for me that it was one of those yearly uploads for me where I put the camera up in my bedroom and I was like, I'm going to talk to people on the internet about how excited I am. And with every bit of material that came out leading up to it, I was just more and more jazzed. I think they cut a killer trailer. I mean, regardless of your thoughts on the movie, the trailer's awesome. You've got Jamie Lee back. You've, obviously had the word at the time. We didn't know to the extent of which Nick Castle was involved, but Nick Castle was going to be back as Myers in some form. John Carpenter doing the score. Like, I don't think I'd ever been more excited. And that includes Rob Zombie's Halloween too. I mean, you guys know I'm a huge fan of that movie, and leading up to that movie, I was so excited for that. I could not wait. 2018, maybe a little bit more. And so I set this movie up against it to begin with. It wasn't fair to the movie because I went in thinking I was going to get Citizen Kane.
Okay.
And obviously I didn't. But yeah, that was my initial response. I couldn't wait.
Dude. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah. So I didn't have a YouTuber do anything at that time. I was just a fan of horror films and Halloween, obviously. But I remember when that came out and just the idea of seeing Jamie Lee Curtis back, that alone to me got me hyped. Seeing a lot of the original cast coming back and how they were handling it, I thought this is going to be incredible. Kind of similar. Was very, very excited. And I remember seeing it. I watched it. I don't know if it was opening night. It might have been. It was opening weekend for sure that I went to see the movie. And for me, I was so excited and hyped that I think it tainted the movie for me first watch. I was like, yeah, this is the best. But then as you start hearing other people's opinions on it, then you start thinking about it, and then you kind of start to form a better idea of what's going on because you're seeing it through rose-colored glasses. For me, the first time. Yeah. Seeing it again, now my opinion has changed a little bit. I still love the trilogy. It's a great trilogy. It has great things about it. But for me, yeah, I just remember that was when that trailer dropped, and it was the talk. Everybody who was a horror fan or in the horror community or loved Halloween, that was what people were talking about. It definitely took the world by storm when that got announced, for sure.
The world stopped turning when that trailer came out. Yeah. I remember everybody waiting on pins and needles for that thing, and you would see channels that never talk about horror movies doing trailer reactions to that trailer. Like it was a big deal. Well,
then all the breakdowns. I remember all the they would like go frame by frame. Okay, if you see, remember, I mean, that still happens today, but at that time, I mean, I watched those a lot when that trailer dropped. That was really cool. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And I would say for me personally, like, I think some of the biggest cause for excitement when any new Halloween movie comes out is the questions you're asking yourself while watching the trailer. I remember watching that trailer for 2018 and wondering, are we going to get any kind of mention of Loomis? Are we going to get any kind of glimpse of Loomis? Because this is a sequel to the original. Like, is he going to be mentioned in any way? Are there going to be other characters from the original movie that they haven't announced that might appear? Like, there's a lot of questions. And I think that that's one of the most exciting things about these movies as they're coming out is, I mean, the possibilities seem to genuinely be endless. And Halloween 2018 was one of those for me. I was stoked.
Well, I mean, man, I'll tell you guys, like, I didn't see the movie right when it first came out, but I think it was like a few months in. But I was like you guys. I remember watching the trailer and losing my shit because, I mean, I'm a fan of the Rob Zombies. I only saw them when they first came out. I enjoyed them from what I remember. Obviously, this was a long time ago, but having Resurrections like embedded in my mind, and I was like, man, like I'll take anything at this point, anything. And seeing something like that and seeing Laurie coming back, especially, I mean, this franchise is an emotional roller coaster because you could go in so many different ways. I mean, me and Jordan were talking about this yesterday, how it's kind of like build your own adventure, right? You go with the first, the second, and Halloween H2O, or then you could go with 4, 5, and 6, right? But, and then this situation where it's like, oh, I mean, again, I don't bring in Resurrection because I think for the most part, most people, majority hate it, except for the nostalgia aspect of it that I love. They could have definitely gone something different if it would have taken Michael out of the equation. But man, I'll tell you guys, like 2018, Halloween 2018 coming out and just watching it and just being like, holy shit. Like they really, I feel like they covered almost everything without even like ignoring certain things. They brought them up very subtly. They bring in these legacy characters that were already in the original. It was an incredible experience. But I want to find out with you guys, right when the credits roll in, you know, you're sitting in theaters and you're finished watching this. You've been waiting for this. You know, I mean, the trailers got you hyped up. What was the first thought after those credits rolled in?
First thought was they had me and then they didn't.
Okay.
And it was because I love the needle drop, the say something and then right into the credits, and then you get the stop motion, like, well, I guess you would say it's like in reverse of the pumpkin rotting, but coming back to life. Like that was really cool. I did feel like they played the string out a little bit too long on that checkerboard thing to the point where it almost kind of it was kind of cringe. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people are like really big on this opening, and like parts of it I am, and parts of it I'm not. Like when you're seeing the patients kind of freak out. One of them saying Figaro, and one of them's just like smiling. I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like I don't know. I feel like that got played out a little bit too long, but the main thought that was crossing my mind genuinely was, holy shit, I'm sitting in the theater watching a Halloween movie. Like I don't think anything else was really top of mind for me. It was that. It was like, I'm here. It's been almost a decade. I was there for Rob's 2 movies opening night. Like, I couldn't believe that I was there. And so, yeah, although, I don't know. It's still a really good opening credit sequence too. I don't know, but that was the main thing for me.
Nice. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I was, like I said, I saw it through rose-colored glasses the first time, so I was so excited. And especially, I think another part of this, the kickoff of this trilogy that I love so much was, I mean, when you first saw the mask back, because before we didn't had that mask for a while, and we saw it and the way they did it up, I thought it was incredible. So that really got me excited, and it felt like almost a reset. I mean, it kind of was, right?
Yeah.
But it did feel like that for me, like, okay, now we're back. We're tapping into that kind of 78 atmosphere, the way that film was. That's what I was excited about. And I remember after the credits roll, that's what I felt. And then of course you hear Michael breathe, and then it gives you chills hearing him breathe there at the end. So,
Well, talking about that iconic mask, right? I mean, throughout so many of these Halloween movies, I just felt like it kind of became a joke after a while, where he kind of kept getting more cartoonish progressing throughout certain films, 4 or 5 and so on. But let's talk about Michael Myers in Halloween 2018, and how, and not just 2018, but Ends and Kills, and how he just progressively gets darker and more badass. And I'm talking about reminiscing to the Friday the 13th remake, that Jason, where he's fast, he's violent, and it's not just that slow, stalking you, but it's more like, I'm here to destroy anything in my path, women, kids, dogs, it doesn't matter. How did you guys feel about the Michael Myers in this new trilogy?
For me, I mean, I think one of the biggest takeaways, even after the first time I saw it, being disappointed in the movie, and I still to this day, James Jude Courtney is Michael Myers. He just is. I think like Nick Castle is the blueprint, and I think a lot of Courtney's mannerisms and how he does certain things are based off of Nick Castle. So it's almost impossible in a way to be like, oh, he's better than Castle, because I mean, he imitates Castle in a lot of ways. But he's Michael Myers. I mean, it genuinely felt like Nick Castle 40 years later. Like it really did. I don't know if I don't know what James did, locked himself in a room and watched Halloween on a loop for 3 days or whatever, but he got it down to the point where it felt like the same Michael. And I feel like even though he's way more brutal and kills than he is in 2018, I still feel like he kept the spirit of that. Like it still feels like that Michael. So yeah, for me, he's Michael Myers. I've felt that way since the first time I watched the movie. I did go into this thing so excited to the point where I was a little disappointed and I was nitpicking things, but that was never one thing I nitpicked.
Well, before we jump onto you, I want to ask you something, Nick. So that scene where the son and the dad, they get to the bus wreckage, and you see Michael kill that kid. Like, what was your first thought when that happened? Because we don't see that too often throughout the Halloween franchise. Like, usually the kids are always getting away.
I was in the theater with my ex-wife. We had just been dating. We'd been dating for like 5 months at that point. We saw it together, And I remember saying out loud, I was like, oh, fuck. I said it out loud in the theater. Yeah, it was, I knew in that moment that like, oh, okay, nobody's
Yeah.
safe. And then there's a moment later in the movie where he stops for a split second at that crib. And you're like, dude, no,
Yeah.
no. Like this Michael, that moment early on in the movie, you know, like, yeah, okay, okay. If you think kids are safe, you're wrong. And I controversial opinion sometimes, I know, but that is precisely how you should do it personally. Nobody should be safe.
I think that's the thing about Halloween. Jordan and I, again, were talking about this yesterday. We're recording a video for Friday. And one thing that we talk about, it's we always have the big juggernauts, the big three. We have Freddy, Jason, and Michael. But the problem is that all these killers, they play by certain rules, right? They're always going after the horny teenagers and whoever kind of gets in their way. But with Michael, one thing preparing for this whole week little extravaganza was kind of really seeing through the eyes of Michael again, and just seeing how he just, when it comes to like even animals, a lot of these movies, they refuse to kill any dogs or anything. There's a few of the movies where Michael kills dogs, he kills the kids, and it's just like, dude, if you're gonna have somebody, like if you want the definition of evil, that's evil. I mean, evil goes after anybody. And that moment with that baby, that's one thing where he stopped and looked. I was like, holy shit, are they gonna go there? Like that's the ultimate right there. Like there's after that, there's no coming back.
Well,
also you put yourself in a corner in a horror film if you are going to make it clear that certain categories of people are safe, because then as the viewer, you go, I don't have as much tension here because I know that person's not going to die. And that's a mistake. You don't ever want that to be the case. You want to know that anybody and everybody is fair game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Michael. I mean, and that's why I think works perfectly as this character. And to me, he's scarier than any Freddy or Jason, in my opinion, is because he is evil embodied, and they drive that point home in these movies. And evil doesn't take any prisoners. I mean, they just go forward. There's nothing that can stop what they want to do or what they're, there's no limit to evil. And that is Michael. I mean, it talks about he's got the devil's eyes. He is evil personified. That's why he's called the Shape, right? And that's what I love about that character. And I think they did portray that really well in this trilogy.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, that's the thing. I think they embodied not just the evil, but also the trauma that comes from it, because they kind of touch base on it a little bit in Halloween 2 with the whole mob mentality and stuff like that. But with this one, it's like they really show the impact of how just one person or one being taking a few lives, those 3 lives that night, and shot 6 times. And all of a sudden it's like the whole town for the next like 30 years plus, or 40 years, like they're just traumatized. They're still on edge. They're still checking their closets. And it just, I feel like it really personified trauma. It personified like the choices you have between good and evil. I think that dance between Laurie and Michael, they captured that pretty well for the most part. But Jordan, because I still wanted to hear kind of your thoughts on this. Like when you, besides like Michael, obviously, tell us a little bit about like your thoughts with this Michael, and also like that scene when he kills that kid in that truck, like how that made you feel.
I mean, it was something that we really hadn't seen Michael do. So it was jarring. It was shocking. And it was it was it was almost a laughter I had. Like, I can't believe this is happening, but it made me in a sadistic way, maybe cheer for him more in a weird way. Now this Michael, he's just this brooding, hulking Michael, but as Nick said, he does embody Nick Castle very well. His movements, the way he churns, his walking, the way he will look at people, his glance. I mean, is very, very Nick Castle-esque. But anyways, the baby, that was, or I'm sorry, you were talking about the kid with the dad and son talking about going hunting and stuff.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, let's talk about both for a second, because I mean, those are 2 big pivotal moments in the film where
Yeah.
it's like starting off, you're like, holy shit, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, with the baby, that was a very, I was almost worried because with horror movies, there's when it's animals and kids, that for me, and I get why they do that, but that messes with me. And so, like, I think a perfect example is The Witch. That whole scene really messed me up when I first saw it. So seeing that, I remember I was with my wife and I was sitting there. I said, "Oh God, he better not do it. Don't do it." And he didn't. It was kind of like I was white knuckling the chair at the theater. But of course they reminded us, hey, this movie, there's no one's safe because if you guys remember in Ends, Corey, knocks the kid off the 3-story staircase down.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, maybe not intentionally, but it still happened and it showed it.
No, yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that moment too, I was like, holy hell, that did
Mhm.
not just happen. That's
Yeah.
so messed up. Now, I did see Alexander's comment on here talking about Laurie's character is a bit frustrating in the franchise. Let's talk about that a little bit, about Laurie's character. How did you guys feel that? Did you feel like they did her justice in this trilogy, bringing her back and kind of showing that side of her just not coping, just being paranoid, just constantly waiting for him to kind of be really like escape or something like that? What was your guys' thoughts?
I mean, this is something that has been contentious for me from the very beginning, and it's something that'll be mentioned in my video tomorrow because talking about H2O and 20, you can't help but compare to 2018. And so for me, eventually, yes, but initially, no. I initially I did not like what they did with Laurie's character, and I still don't. Now it's impossible for me to say what is more believable. How would any one person process trauma this way or that way? That's all really up to the viewer of what they're willing to accept and what they're willing to grant the filmmakers. For me personally, I did feel like it just seemed a little over the top for me. And if Halloween 2 was canon, it wouldn't have been as over the top because that massacre went on much longer with Halloween 2 included. A lot more people died. Laurie almost died a second time. But by the time we got to Ends, and this is something that, a lot of people, it's pretty contentious as well, that, I hate how she's all of a sudden fine. That's never been a problem for me. If anything, it was refreshing to see that because they get to the point in Kills at the end where, Will Patton tells her it was never about you. Like it's never been about you. Michael doesn't care about you. He was not out to get you. And that moment of like clarity for Laurie makes her kind of snap in a way. And, and then we fast forward 4 years later and she's trying to live a normal life. And that made sense to me because no matter how you want to view it, whether you want to say, oh, well, why would she all of a sudden just not care anymore when he came back and killed all these people that were close to her? And it's like, well, one, she now knows it was never about me. He doesn't care about me. It was just incidental. And two, where did it get her? Where did preparing and living life that way get her? Oh, it got her where it did in 78. Everybody around her dead. Okay, so wouldn't you think you need to kind of change tact a little bit? Her response in 2018 is because she felt it was personal. So it was personal to her. When it's made clear to her that it wasn't personal, it's no longer personal to her. It's almost like how any person is expected to heal. You let go. You just try to let go because you got to try to live some kind of a normal life. So didn't like it in 2018. It's way over the top in Kills, but she's not in Kills a lot. Loved her in Ends though.
Yeah. No, we have a few people here. Ali agrees with you. Said, I didn't think it was bad, but H2O Laurie was so much better. And then William was saying, what's up, William, by the way?
What's up, dude?
I can deal with Laurie in 2018, but in Kills, I could not stand her. And then we do have Ecto Violence. What's up, man? Thank you for joining us.
What's up, dude?
Now, Jordan, what about your thoughts, man?
I find it interesting, Nick, that you said that about the healing part. Because I remember, and this is actually even recently, I kind of had this opinion. I was talking, preparing and stuff, and I looked at, we were watching, I think we had finished Ends had just finished, and my wife, she'll start a movie, get on her phone, and then watch the end, and then say, "Oh, that was a great movie." So it was one of those situations. And I looked at her, I said, "It's just so ass backwards. It makes no sense to me why you would think how she was in Ends is how she would be in 18, and how she is in 18 is how she would end up being in Ends." It seemed reverse, and then Kills is just kind of that hinge point. And she goes, "I don't think so." And she said, basically, so my wife's a therapist. She said what she said. She goes, "That's trauma healing. That's the process. You learn how to cope with certain things, and that's part of it. Regardless of, they don't know where he is. He's disappeared. He's gone for, I don't remember how many years it was between Kills and Ends. But it's her coping through that. And of course, writing that memoir is part of her coping through all of that trauma that she went through. And that's how she's getting through being able to go to the grocery store, start to kind of open that door to dating a little bit, right? All that stuff. And she brought that up, and it mirrored exactly what you said. And I find that really interesting. And I could see that for sure now.
And also she's in her 60s at this point. You've spent the majority of your life obsessing over somebody that you just realized, one, doesn't care about you, and two, continues to kill everyone around you whenever they get near you. If I were her, I'd want to excise that out of my life too, especially if I only had like 20 years of life left. I've given up everything in my life for nothing, for pain and misery. Like, I hear the argument when people make it, but I do agree with the direction they went. I think it makes sense.
It's not all about you, Laurie.
Yeah. It's, I see it like in two different ways, right? Because I mean, we do know that studios, especially in this day and age, they try to cater towards certain demographics and stuff like that. But there's definitely two ways around it. Like in my eyes, for Laurie to obsess over what happened in just one night. I mean, I get it. It's traumatic. 3 people died, plus countless others, in part 2 and everything. But like for what happened in one night, and that costs you like 40 years of your life, pretty much. Like that's just like, and I agree with you guys. Like it's crazy to just I would think after the first few years and me not noticing nobody showing up for Halloween, I'm like, okay, things are getting better each year. No boogeyman showing up. I'm healing. I'm getting better. But instead it's just obsessing for 40 years, even knowing the fact that he's locked up.
Yeah.
Like knowing the fact that he's locked up, and at the time, like Loomis is still alive. He's still watching him and all that stuff. I mean, she would, if anything, if he escaped, obviously she would probably be the first phone call that goes out. It's like, hey, Laurie, by the way, he's out.
Well, I'd be careful too. You're right, and I agree with you. But that take has gotten me my fair amount of shit. When I've made videos talking about that, I've gotten some comments from people that be like, "Who are you to say how someone should process trauma?" Like that's just so. One person called it very narcissistic that I would feel that way, and I was like, what? No, film is subjective. I'm just saying, from my opinion, I feel like that's overboard. Like, I'm not saying I'm right. It's just, it's less believable to me than H2O. H2O's Laurie, like, H2O's got a lot of flaws, but I will always maintain that movie did Laurie Strode right. Period. Just did. I reminded me of my mom a lot. My mom had coping mechanisms. She tried to. You try to lead a better life, and you try to move on from certain things, but we all have our vices. We all slip up, and we don't always process that trauma well. And I think not processing that trauma coming out in the form of, oh, I'm kind of drinking in secret, and I'm having night terrors and stuff, is a little more believable to me in my experience than, hey, I've got an army of mannequins out in my backyard and I'm shooting them on the daily. That just, I don't know. One seems more real than the other.
Yeah. No, and no, it is true. I do agree that, I mean, especially again in this day and age, we do have to be careful the way we say things, just because it could be interpreted in the complete wrong way, unfortunately. And it's true. I mean, each person's trauma, it's their own, and the way they process things differently. But I will say that the other thought that I had with this film, right? I wonder if it was from a woman's point of view. I mean, obviously Laurie's a woman, but it's like a woman's point of view with trauma and with like assault and stuff like that. Because when you think about it with the whole mannequin situation, right? Like that one night that happened with Michael, right? Where it's like she had this stalker and all that stuff. He tries to kill her and all that. And then all this time goes by and she just cannot, like, she's so shocked by what happened to her that that's the only way to like process, to vent, because she didn't get the closure of confronting the attacker in a way where it's like seeing him locked up. Because I don't, like, throughout the movie, I don't even think that she ever went to the hospital or anything where Michael was.
Yeah. I mean, it could be too, it's her. We know in the film it's because of Michael, right? They talk about it, but I'm trying to justify it as, I'm just now thinking out loud, maybe it's I'm not going to let this sort of thing happen to me again.
Yep.
And it's kind of this, I'm headstrong. This is not going to happen. I'm going to train up. I'm going to make sure so this cannot happen. And on the flip side, it's going to get to the point where I'm going to basically alienate my family. My daughter's going to want to have nothing to do with me because of the way of her upbringing. She didn't live a normal life, but hey, this is never going to happen to me again. And the interesting thing about that is it in a way does. No matter all this training, it still happened regardless. Yeah. Nothing she could have done. So whether her living a very free life or a very secluded and looking over her shoulder 24/7 life, both at the end of the day, the same thing happened.
Fate never changes.
Right.
Yeah. And, and it's interesting with this trilogy because, like I was saying earlier, they really, they went very deep with this. I mean, again, talking about trauma, mob mentality, beliefs, all this stuff. But I think that one main thing they really targeted was assault, because unfortunately, I do know way too many ladies that have had that share happen in life. And that reaction, like I've seen before with people where with Laurie, like you hit the nail on the head perfectly, Jordan. I mean, after she just tries to prepare herself because she's like, it's never happening to me again. And because she has a daughter, she's like, I'm going to make you strong. Like, your father's not around. I got to take care of you. And this is never going to happen to you either. So that's one thing I felt like they were really trying to convey in this film. It is about Michael Myers, but they turned it into something more. They just used Michael Myers as a vessel to kind of like wake people up about, again, like violence, that mob mentality, not being sheep, assault, trauma, depression, because we see that when we'll touch on that. Halloween Ends, being, some event happens to you and all of a sudden you get depressed and all these things start happening, and then you start kind of succumbing to certain dark sides, like we see in End. But it's such an interesting thing the way they did with these three films. Do you feel like when it comes to horror and this franchise, it's okay to try to use them as a vessel for these type of messages at the same time, if they do it right? Or do you feel like it should just stick to the script, stick to horror? That's what we're more here to see.
I mean, I think that anybody personally that would have the take of, hey, no, they need to keep some of these topics out of movies, I think is objectively wrong. And I would make that argument pretty succinctly, I think, because horror is what the viewer perceives horror to be. Horror is a big umbrella. There's a lot of things that fall under that. But if a horror movie tackles real life horrors, I mean, I don't know what could be more topical than that. So in my opinion, absolutely. You don't want to take a side of, politically or anything like that. But this movie didn't do that. And if you view, or any of these movies personally, and if you view it that way, then you are looking at it the wrong way. You are connecting dots because maybe you have a guilty conscience about something, or maybe you see something that, I don't know, hits a little too close to home for you, that bothers you, that you don't agree with. But for the message to be about victims of assault taking the power back, everybody should agree with that. For the message in Halloween Kills to be that mob mentality is not good, it is not smart, everybody should agree with that. I think that all of these themes are very, very prevalent in today's society. They're very topical, and there's nothing better that a horror movie can do than actually scare us with things we deal with, unfortunately, in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
So, I look to Weapons, a movie that came out a couple months ago, and just the idea of your children going missing, like sadly something that happens every day in our society, like real life horrors. Now, sure, you make it fantastical. And Weapons, they're all under the fucking like spell of a cult leader. But regardless, like the bones of it, the structure of it being a real life horror, I think that's the best thing you can do, and you should do that in horror movies.
Yeah. No, I 1,000% agree with you, brother. I mean, I think that it's awesome, when we have movies like Friday 13th and all these killers, we have Hellraiser, and it's cool. It's like this world, right, where we know would never happen. But then when we have these things that are close to home like that are just literally on the other side of the street, it could happen at any moment. That's what really makes it creepy. And it just makes you uncomfortable because it's like it's probable. It's tangible. It's not just some fantasy that worst case you have a little nightmare from it.
Ask your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, whatever. Ask them what's scarier to you, the idea of somebody coming out of the darkness and snatching you up, or the swamp thing coming out of the swamp to come. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously one is scarier than the other because it's actually realistic. So yeah.
No, absolutely. And Jordan, before I ask you real quick, because I did see a comment here and I thought it was just absolutely hilarious, man. Let me see here. Where is it? It was something about Allie had said it. And oh yeah, she's like, especially old school Loomis. Yeah, because when she's talking about earlier with him picking up the phone and he's like, Laurie, I shot him 6 more times, just coming after you. But I just thought that was hilarious. I just picture him doing it. But so Jordan, let's talk about that real quick. Like, what are your thoughts on involving these type of deep topics in these type of horror movies?
I mean, it's film. I mean, people can say whatever they want, or these filmmakers can put whatever they want in these films. That's what's great about film. It's open for whatever you want to put in. And I think horror and comedy too. It's those two types of films that I think work so well with more taboo topics, more topics that people are afraid to touch. And of course, I think there are conversations that need to be had, especially, I'm sorry if you guys can hear that ambulance is driving by my house, but
it's Michael.
Yeah, it's Michael. Sorry, I live by a really busy street. But
Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Sorry. What do I think about it? Go for it. More power to you. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes you aware for sure. And it gets people talking like this. And I think that's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that's in my opinion, when it comes to these type of arts, when it's like literature, music, film, they should be conversation pieces, right? I mean, they're a form of expression. And for somebody that's artistic and creative, if you kind of hinder them from fully expressing themselves, you're always going to get mediocre stuff. It's just like, let them go balls to the wall and create something. Obviously, certain topics will be taboo, but at the end of the day, we need that. We need that. I mean, that's the whole point of living somewhere where it's like we have this freedom of speech, right? To be able to create these things. And
don't sterilize my movies. Don't sterilize my movies for fear of anything. Every movie is going to find its audience, whether it's upon release or 10 years later. And I think that's the beauty of film. So if you as a filmmaker feel like you have something to say it. And also the beauty of you as the viewer is you don't have to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. We all have that choice where we don't have to sit there. We can just walk out the theater or just not go at all. Now, let's talk about kills for a second. I mean, not kills. Let's talk about ends for a second. I just want to fast forward there real quick because, man, that story, to me, it felt like this movie turned into this trauma bonding, more like a romantic horror movie compared to what we're used to with Halloween.
Hell yeah.
How did you guys feel about that turn?
This dark romance, bro. I fucking love this shit. Okay, so Halloween Ends was a movie I was terrified about going into because I had heard from somebody that had seen it. Hey, man, yeah, that Corey guy, he's a copycat. And I was like, oh, fuck, you're going to give us something worse than Resurrection. Why? And I mean, man, I was really, really worried.
Yeah.
So I think I benefited from having my expectations on the friggin' floor. And the moment the movie clicked for me in the theater was in the sewer when Michael stabbed the cop and did his like shimmy.
Yeah.
And I remember being in the theater, I got goosebumps and I was like smiling and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I love the route they went. It was funny because my ex-wife and I had just separated right before this movie came out. And we obviously hand off my kid every week to each other. You know, I get him for a couple days and I take him back to her. And after I had picked him up one weekend, it was right after the movie came out. I asked her, hey, you watched Halloween Ends yet? She said, yeah, I watched it on Peacock. It was stupid. It was like a love movie about a motorcycle. And I was like,
motorcycle.
I was like, okay, you are really, really dumbing that down, but like, whatever. And I saw other takes like that. I loved it because for 2 movies, Allison had nothing to do aside from just tag along. And I didn't like that because you're giving me this new generation of a Strode woman. And then that Strode woman is like, she's almost serving as a reminder in those 2 movies. Hey, remember, there's another Strode. It was like, okay, but what is she here to do? Like, I don't understand what her point is in 2018, aside from she's the new generation of fresh meat, basically. Like, all her friends are going to die. Ends was finally a movie where they're like, Allison, here's your character. We're going to see you, like you said, trauma bond with somebody else the same age as you, based off of shared experiences. You're going to find somebody that sees you through all of that bullshit, and you're going to see them through all of their bullshit, and you guys are going to bond that way. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I mean, I'm almost 31, and I can tell you I've definitely, loved fast before. Like, it happens. It definitely happens. You can fall hard really quick for someone that you feel like has a ton in common with you. And usually it ends terribly because you're supposed to take your time with that. But I loved it. I mean, I spoiler alert for anybody that doesn't know, Halloween Ends is in my top 5 in the franchise. I adore this movie, and I think that it is the movie in the David Gordon Green trilogy where David Gordon Green finally was like, I'm going to do my own thing here, for better or worse. But as far as specifically the trauma bonding, dark romance stuff, give me that.
No, dude, I'll tell you, I mean, watching this movie compared to all the Halloweens, it was such an experience because it felt very unique. It was a sexy ass movie. I'll say right off the bat. I mean, like,
and they filmed a sex scene with Allison and Corey. David Gordon Green talked about it and they cut it. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
Like when they go up the stairs.
Yeah. They filmed a scene. He said it just didn't work. We felt it didn't work. And I'm like, let me be the judge of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me be the judge. But no, it's a sexy movie. I don't care what everybody says. It is.
Dude, listen,
it's a great movie.
Dude, I loved it, man. Like I love that story because it was real. I mean, again, like you said it, man. Freaking, you're a poet at heart, man. Like sometimes we love hard, we love fast. We've all done it at some point. And it's like driving fast, man. You get on the highway going a $120 on a motorcycle. There's only, so many ways that could go. And in this situation, it's like, that's what happened when 2 people, they have so much trauma and so much baggage and shit going on. And they just want to literally set this world on fire, and then you mash them together. I mean, dude,
it's going to end up with you hugging a tree. You're going to end up hugging a tree when that car comes to a stop. But guess what? The ride is so fun,
dude. Like when I'm telling you, like, it was scenes where when they're on the motorcycle and she's just like touching his mouth and all this stuff, and it's like, damn, they went there with Halloween. Like I never expected it.
And this was the first movie too where I feel like in Kills and in 2018, Andy felt very much like a teenager. And she feels like a grown woman. Like, I feel like she's confident. I feel like she's delivering the lines with confidence. I feel like she understands the character of Allison. Like, I just really felt like this was the movie because I was not sold on her. And this movie, I was like, okay, I want to see her act more because this is a script. She talked about it. This is her favorite of the 3. It's no secret why it's her favorite because she got the most to do. She actually got to be an actress and like show some range. Yeah, I don't know. I dug it.
And the subtle transition. I mean, as like you notice it through each film all the way to Ends, where her nail polish is black. The way she's dressing is different. Her hair is different. The way she talks to people, that smile's not there anymore. And it's just, it really, like that character arc with her. It was very impressive, man.
Well, not only that, but I want to talk about Corey for a second, and I just
Yeah.
love their relationship. But what I like is it's like oil and water. They mix, but they are so bad for each other. If you watch the scene, where they're at the diner and her ex-boyfriend, who was the cop, comes up and he's kind of basically harassing them, and Corey tells him to get lost. And just the little subtle pushes that Corey gets to become who he is, so that creates this killer, that creates this psychopath. Just little stuff with those high school boys, right? Throw them off the side of the bridge. Her saying, "Let's burn it all down," right? I mean, that scene right there, I love it. Let's burn it all down. Then they go, and that whole scene with them at the radio station, I think is incredible.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. When the DJ comes out there and he's talking shit,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there thinking the first time I saw that movie, I was like, boy, he is going to kill the shit out of you. And I cannot wait to see it, because in that, you mentioned the moment in the restaurant. I don't care who you are. Like, a lot of people gave Corey shit and they were like, oh, he got bullied by band geeks. Like, whatever. Yeah. You're totally missing the point on purpose just because you want to shit on the movie. But regardless, like, that moment in the restaurant, dude, he's scary. Like, I'm like, I don't want to fuck with this guy. Like, and you could tell the cop too was like, and he tried to be tough about it later. Like, oh, I'm going to follow him home or whatever. But like, you could tell in that moment, he didn't want that shit. He did not want those problems. And like, Rowan Campbell, dude, he's kind of a bigger dude too. He's pretty built. So like, yeah, dude, he gets that look in his eye. And like, I don't know. It just sold me. I didn't feel like it was a stretch when they were like, oh, he's basically like a copycat. It worked for me because I saw it in his eyes. Like, I really did. And I love that moment in the movie where Laurie says, when she's talking to Lindsay, and she's like, I saw Michael in his eyes. Like, there's just, I really feel like Loomis could have given a great spiel on Corey. Like, I see the same thing in him that I saw in Michael.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's just there. I don't know. Dude's a great actor. Can't wait for Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, I was just about to say him as Billy, I think is going to be incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, Corey's character, like the actor, he captured that so perfectly, that intensity. Even when he's telling her in the beginning, he's like, oh, let's just run away. And let's just burn. He's like, sometimes I just want to burn this place to the ground. It really gave me that. It was like the Joker, like the Heath Ledger Joker, but calm. And that's what's scary about it, when it's just, he's not saying anything. He's just staring, like you were saying. But that moment, I got goosebumps when she's like, let's just burn it all down. He's like, I like the match.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, are you kidding me? Like, somebody that's willing to do something like that, it's got nothing to lose. And that's dangerous. But I want to take a quick second, because we have somebody here hanging out with us. Steven from After Hours Video. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
We miss you, man. We can't wait to have you back, hang out. And he was saying that boy, Hasher song rips and Halloween Ends. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Burn it down, buddy.
Dude.
I remember leaving the theater and I was actually listening to that song in my car on my way home. It grabbed me in the movie. Never heard it before. And I was like, I need to listen to this song on my way home, because this shit rips.
It's interesting what they did when we have the traditional original Halloween, where it's like dun, 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 with the piano, and then it's very, obviously you have the horny teenagers, this and that, and then you have the slasher, and that evolution in Halloween from that all the way to ends, and the way the music changes.
Well, I also want to say to you guys, and I want to see if you guys agree, I think Halloween Ends feels the most adult of the three movies, in the sense that, like, I still feel like in Kills, and definitely 2018, Allison, Cameron, they feel like kids. Like, they feel like naive kids. Halloween Ends feels like a movie full of adults. Like, you have the band kids there, but like, if anything, I think that helps drive my point forward even more, because you see the dichotomy between them and Corey, of like, Corey's worried about other shit. Corey's at a different place in his life. Like, I can't waste my time buying you kids beer. Like, I'm not going to fight you guys. I'm catch a felony for beating up some 16-year-olds. Like, that's dumb. It feels like the most adult film, and it thematically too. It is the most adult. Like, I really, really hate how divisive the movie was, because I feel like so many people just do not give any credit to anything in this movie because of a certain aspect or two that they didn't like. And it's a shame because I think it's easily the most original of the three. Like, it's not even a question. Like, it's got the most to say. It's got the most going on. It's got the best performances, the best writing. Like, it's it's head and shoulders better than the two movies before it to me.
Well, I think what's incredible about that is GC kind of mentioned the progression. I think you did as well, of where we see Allison's character evolve. We see all these characters evolve to this point, and it feels like that's naturally where things would go. And I think that's what I love about it, and the adult-oriented aspect, and the fact these are adult problems. You know, she's dealing with work, getting a promotion. She can't get it because she's not sleeping with the doctor, right? And she's dealing with all that trauma. Now she finds this guy who, you know, it feels close to home to her. Maybe one because he's like Michael, or it could be because they both have that trauma bonding, right? And I think it's incredible.
Yeah, no, dude, the way they captured, like watching that movie, the way they captured how kind of society is right now, where there's a lot of us with real problems, and it's true. Like that interaction at the gas station, I know you said, Nick, and it's like a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, you know, he didn't stand up to those band geeks, this and that, or whatever. And to me, it's like that's kind of how it is when you're an adult. I mean, I've been in that situation where there's like high school kids and they're selling chocolate outside the mall or outside the store, and you're like, oh, I'm not interested. And they keep hounding you and harassing you. You're like, no, I'm good, man. And then they start being little assholes about it. And it's like, dude, like
I've got
like,
bigger things I have to worry about than whatever kind
gonna,
of problem you have, or would you conceive to be a problem.
And let me just say this, guys. Did you happen to catch the junkyard scene? Okay, because anybody that wants to like talk shit about that, oh, Corey got bullied by band geeks. No, he didn't. He eviscerated them one after the other. It just took to the point where he snapped to do that. I don't think Corey Cunningham or Rowan Campbell as a real person would have any problem dispatching them.
Dude,
and we saw that happen.
That torch scene every time still gets me.
You can hear the teeth cracking under the heat. You can like, and I actually remember Chris Nelson saying that. He was like, we did like an effect where you could hear the teeth cracking from the heat. And like, no, I sat in the theater at that blowtorch scene, and I was from ear to ear, just like, oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. That moment was bittersweet just because of the stepdad. Like, but besides that, I was like, damn it, no. Like, I was excited for what was happening, and then the stepdad comes out, and I'm like, fuck no. And then right after he drops, and you see Corey again, it's like, fuck yeah.
And I think another thing that people didn't like about the movie is it kind of almost showed you that, and I hate to say this for some, this might be sacrilege, Michael Myers ain't all that special. The evil that inhabits Michael Myers is very special, and it can drive people to do insane things. But when that evil transferred to somebody else, they were capable of doing everything Michael was, because you're just the vessel, you're the conduit. Like, and eventually a body is going to wear down. That evil's going to move on to something else. You can't do what you used to, buddy. You ain't got it. You're almost 70. You can't get it up anymore. Like, you know, I'm going to the young 21-year-old. And I think that was a problem that people had too, because a lot of people like deify Michael Myers, and I've never done that. I love the character, and there's iterations of the character that they kind of do deify him, but I don't think this trilogy really did. I mean, kills at times, but looking back at kills, that's just the people's perspective of Michael. That's not the filmmakers telling you. The one time in kills where the filmmakers are a little bit muddy with that is when you have Laurie giving the monologue, and it is cutting back and forth between her monologue and Michael just killing the entire mob. That is a visual choice by David Gordon Green to maybe allude to, maybe he is this thing she's talking about. And then it ends, they go, no, he's not. But to their, in their defense, in 2018, they had set the standard that he was just a man. Like, he's just a man. Like, so kills muddied the water a little bit, but that was a problem people have with the trilogy, because they look at Michael Myers as the king. And I do think he is the king, but I think the question more lies in what is that evil exactly in Michael Myers, and what is it capable of? Not so much what is the man capable of.
Well, that just confirms the shape. You know, he is evil personified. And like you said, that evil can take many forms.
Well, and it explains too the fact, I mean, those scenes where he fights those firefighters. And I mean, which first of all, I mean, with the fire behind him like that and the way he just like stomps out on those puddles and it just really sets up that scene. Dude,
I mean,
like
visually, it's a really great
gorgeous.
thing.
The way
Halloween
he,
Kills is the most fun Halloween movie. I mean,
yeah.
that's not even me saying like it's good or no. I understand all the complaints with Kills, but it is the most fun. If you are literally just like, I want to see Michael Myers mow down as many as possible, that it's Kills. Like you're not gonna find one better than that. I think the closest comparative is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But Michael Myers in that movie doesn't feel like Michael from the original intentionally. It's very much Zombies Myers, whereas Kills Myers, it feels like the Michael from the original on crack. Like I you know, like I really don't know how else to put it.
Dude, because I'll tell you, man, if he was a mere mortal like that, it's been locked up in one of those hospitals staring out the window for 40 years at that age, it's like there's no way he's gonna be taking down these firefighters wearing all that 40 pounds of gear and just picking them up like that, like nothing, and just especially again, like overpowering all of them. Like there has to be something there to have that type of power. And then we see that with the mob where it's like, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys ever been hit by with a bat or with anything,
Oh yeah,
but
buddy.
I mean, dude, like you go down, like, you know, you can only take so many hits. And this
But
dude just out of nowhere just says, you know what? I'm done playing around with you guys.
I got a concussion when I was a teenager from getting hit in the head with an aluminum bat. And buddy, my
Jesus.
head was ringing. It wasn't on purpose, but that shit hurt. Yeah, no, it definitely shows you. These movies show you that like this evil is not to be messed with, and I think that all the more sells Corey's turn and ends because if he got that shit in him, I mean, he's capable of anything. Like that's why when people are like, "Oh, he pushed Michael Myers down in the sewer and took his mask," I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I would take Rowan Campbell in a fight versus James Jude Courtney. I would personally, and especially if that evil had transferred into Rowan. Like I'm gonna take him probably 9 times out of 10. It's not more about Michael Myers himself and what he's capable of. It's about what that evil drives him. It's like the stories you hear about moms that can lift a car when their kid's underneath it. That adrenaline, like sure, you might tear your biceps doing that, but you're not going to feel it at the time because there's something else empowering you. I don't think Michael Myers in this version of the story, at least, was ever that strong or that, you know, that impressive. I think the evil drove the human body to achieve things that we could all achieve, but in very, very, very rare circumstances.
Yeah. And we have that message in Ends too, where it's like when he's talking to Laurie and telling her about how she should have chose that dark side. And I think that movie, it was so grounded in the fact that we all have that, right? We all have that evil in us. And it's what you choose to do, either to ignore it and, you know, or to succumb to it like he does. And I mean, the fact that he already had that rage, he had nothing to lose. He didn't care about anybody in that town. I mean, it was so easy. He saw Michael and what he could do. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go that route and just get fully infected, as they talk about in the film. You know, he just gets infected and then that's it. There's no going back. But there is a particular scene I want to talk about where Corey, obviously he gives her that whole, if I can have her, nobody can type situation, like just freaking jabs himself in the neck. And then there's a moment where obviously we all think he's dead. He's already donezo. He did what he wanted. He couldn't have her. So he messed up the relationship between Laurie and her. But all of a sudden, Michael shows up and he wakes up and he tries to keep him from getting the knife. Did you guys feel that in that moment, he was trying to keep him from getting the knife to protect, not Laurie, but obviously to protect Laurie's niece? Or did you feel like he just didn't want Michael to take that power back?
No, yeah, that was simply it. In my reading of it, I think it was more like, this belongs to me now, old man, kind of thing. And Michael was like, the fuck it does, dude. Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, I agree with Nick. That was a complete, it's my turn. Get out of here. You know?
Yeah. He's like, you failed. I gave you a chance and you failed. And it's like, I'm taking over.
Well, you see that that's just in life. That's also very topical. When people get power, they don't want to let it go. And I think that's exactly what it was for Corey in that moment. He did not want to let that go. But looking more into that scene, like more deeply, I remember the first time I saw it, I thought that was super twisted that Corey would do that, stab himself in the neck. But I thought about it, like as the scene's unfolding, I'm like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, wait, that's kind of genius because he knows he's dead to rights. There's no way out of this for him. Best case for him, he goes to prison for the rest of his life. So he heard Allison pull up because of the issue with her catalytic converter, because her car's loud now. He knows she's outside. So he's dead to rights. So he goes, I'll take my own life in an unorthodox way. Most people don't, unalive themselves by stabbing themselves in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
He did that on purpose just to be like, she's going to think you killed me. And there's no way to prove you didn't. And that is so fucking messed up. But it's honestly like brilliant too, because like his dying act, at least in his mind, was, I'm going to ruin your relationship with her. If I can't have her, you can't either. And that's messed up.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so sick, man. Especially when he says that and there was a scene prior in the film, but it really reminded me. I feel like I've heard that in movies before, where obviously you have the bad boy and they're trying to keep him away from the girl, and like I've heard it before, but then seeing it in this movie, especially the way he conveyed it, the actor conveyed it. I mean, dude, that was incredible. And I mean, just like, dude, I want to talk about the brutality and these slashes, right, and these kills in this film, and all three of them, because, dude, I just felt like it was so like that level that they went, like when he stabs himself in the neck. I mean, dude, I felt it. Like I was like, holy shit. But let's talk about some of your favorite kills, some of the stuff that you felt like it was a little over the top. What'd you guys think? And let's start with Halloween 2018.
So for Halloween 2018, my favorite kill sequence in that movie is aptly titled "Michael Goes Trick or Treating." I love that sequence. Yeah, ending with the neighbor just getting the knife right through her neck. I mean, love that. One that I felt like was kind of corny was Sartain's head stomp. It just was like, really, like, this is kind of dumb. I really wish we could have seen the cops get killed, because I love the aftermath of that. That head-o-lantern is just delightfully demented. In Halloween Kills, there's a lot I think that's over the top, but that movie is so dumb, and I mean that in an endearing way, that like I kind of just accept it. I laughed my ass off in the theater when he kicks the door open and she shoots herself. Like I laughed so loud, and many people pointed that out. This is so dumb, and I'm like, I was here for it. Like I don't know, I enjoyed it. Yes, it is dumb, but I enjoyed it. And then it ends. Honestly, I got to tell you the truth. I don't think any of the kills in that movie were like corny or over the top. I think the one you could maybe make the case for was the DJ. You got the tongue flopping around on the vinyl and stuff, but I kind of liked that. And that DJ deserved every last bit of what he got. So but I would say specifically in 2018 in kills, there were some kills where it was like, okay, you guys are really just kind of, you're just trying to show your dicks off now. Like look what we can do. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jordan?
18. Sartain head stomp. That one is just kind of laughable and it's fun. That's a fun kill in my opinion. I like the Aaron and Dana kill in the bathroom. Oh. That's one of my favorite, is when he reaches over and drops the teeth. You want to talk? I mean, I remember seeing that in the trailer, the teeth drop. That is just the idea with getting your teeth ripped out stresses me out. I don't even like the dentist. So imagine me seeing that in theaters. For kills, and there's a lot to pick from in kills. Literally. I don't know. Seeing Tommy's bat stabbed in him was kind of crazy. That was pretty cool. I didn't care for his take on Tommy, to be honest. But anyways, and then ends. I like the tag team that Michael and Corey did at the doctor and nurse's house. That was such a great sequence. The tag team they did with each other for killing.
Dude, that It was so awesome to have. I talked to Michelle Dawson last year, who plays Nurse Deb in that movie. I had her on my channel, and we talked about that scene obviously in depth. And she gave so much cool insight to that about how they did that. And she was like, I had these these pins on the wall that were under my armpits, and they were hurting the shit out of me. But they wanted me to make sure that I was legitimately like hanging there.
Mhm.
And when you see that wide shot of Michael standing there with her pinned up on the wall, you just see the disparity in how big he is and how small she is. And it just makes it feel that much more brutal. But I forgot to mention my favorite kill in this trilogy is Cameron. There was something about that that was so mean-spirited. And I love that unkillable track. And I love that moment in the movie where it's playing and she's like, leave him alone after he just beats the shit out of him. And he's laying there already just like in a pool of his own blood, but he's not dead. And halfway down the steps, just to be an asshole, like just to be a dick, he's like, oh, hold on, let me break his neck real quick. Then I'll finish coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember being in the theater, just being like, holy fuck, no way. Like that's my favorite kill in the trilogy.
Dude, like Michael, I felt like Michael, for those 40 years, he really sat there and he really honed in. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to make certain mistakes. Nobody goes unscathed. Especially that moment where it reminded me of that with the baby in the crib, where he just like looks at him and he's like, is he done for? Like, no, not till he stops breathing. That just takes him out.
That kill. Have you guys seen High Tension?
Yes.
Long time ago.
Every time I see that scene, it reminds me of that High Tension kill.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With the head through the banisters. And every time it was just funny you brought that up.
Dude, I'm surprised that kid wasn't unconscious after that beating. Because I mean, between the stabbing and just being like thrown, I probably would have.
It's adrenaline. It keeps you. You survive. You go through a lot.
Dude, I got to be honest with you. I give Cameron credit. As soon as I saw that mofo come out of that closet, I'd have run. I'd have run so fast out of that house. Like I know I don't stand a chance. And Cameron, to his credit, kind of didn't back down. I mean, he did scream like a little girl. I mean, I probably would have too.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah,
yeah. But dude, yeah, and it was crazy too because I hated Cameron in 2018. Yeah. Not only did I not like the character, I didn't like the performance. I thought it was so over the top. And I'm sitting in the theater going like, I like Cameron in kills. What is happening? I like this kid now. And then he fucking died. And I'm like, you guys are assholes. Like I liked him, but yeah, that's mean-spirited as all hell.
Well, he stood up in the same way in Halloween 4. I forget the kid's name.
Brady,
that one.
Brady,
dude, with the shotgun, and he just picks him up, and he's not gonna let him take one over on him, so he's just gonna spit in Michael's face.
Yeah,
dude, that was a sick way to go. He's like, fuck you, Michael.
Dick move too, but he knew like I'm dead, so might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a way to go, man. But I love both those guys' deaths where they don't ask for help. They just tell the girls, they're like, just run. And I always appreciated that. It's like, dude, even though you guys were like assholes in certain parts of the movie, like at the end where it really mattered, like you guys were like legit and you're like, you know what, save yourself. I'm fucked. And just took it like a man. And I thought that was very honorable. I was like, you know what, you're not so bad.
We also don't talk enough as a collective, I think, about Robert Longstreet's performance as Lonnie. I thought he was genuinely great. Like, I really do think he's really good in that movie. He might be the best actor in that movie, which is crazy because, like, Jamie Lee Curtis is in that movie. But, like, if you want to see how, like, you want an example of good acting, like truly good acting, the scene on the playground where he sees Marion, and you can see like his lips quivering and he's like struggling to talk because of how shook he is by what he's seeing. I remember in the theater being like, oh dude, this guy's doing it, brother. Like he's so damn good in that movie. And it sucked that he died. I knew he was going to, but it sucked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did you guys think about Karen, her death? Am I the only one that was happy?
Yeah, I could care less. And I don't hate Judy Greer. I like her in quite a bit of things, but she was so out of place in this trilogy. I mean, she really was. The only moment she has in any of the movies that I like is gotcha, and then shoots him in 2018. That's it. I honestly think her monologue in Kills, where she's standing in the street with the mask, is cringeworthy. Like, it is some of the worst dialogue in the franchise. I'm not even kidding. She's just like your sister was. I'm like, what the fuck are you? What? Like, this is clearly for the audience. Like, this, you're giving this for people that may not remember, but oh my God, dude, I was sitting there and being like, shut up, just kill her. Like,
she's definitely got a lot of cringe lines. What was it in 18 where she gets ready to go down under the under the island.
Yeah.
What does she say? What is this? She goes, my childhood, or she says something.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, shut up. Come on.
Oh
now.
my God. And I can't do it. I'm like, oh, you know what? I honestly, Judy, you can act. I've seen you act. I don't know what the fuck this is, but yeah, when she died, and I hated her death scene too. Like, it's all jump cutty and all over the place. I'm like, we don't even get to like really see it happen. It's just, I don't know if they thought that was like, wow, this is stylistically, this is so cool. No, it's not. It seems like you have ADHD and you forgot to take your meds today. And it's just kind of like, whoa, look at all this shit. And I'm like, nah.
They took that limitless pill and everything's just flashing and shit. And she's just getting stabbed.
Yeah.
No, dude. Like, I loved where I thought it was funny because, like, even though most people are like, damn, her acting in this movie was shit, but like Michael falls for it, where she's like, I can't do it.
I know.
That's true.
All of a sudden, I love that scene. She's like, gotcha. That part I thought was so badass because he's like, I was like, damn.
Yeah, but then it's immediately undercut by a terrible line. Laurie comes out of the shadows. Happy Halloween, Michael. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, you just had to do it. You had to ruin a great moment with this dog shit. Like, there are multiple moments in all three of these movies when you could tell it was written by fanboys. Like, you can just tell where you're like, oh yeah, here's our big hero moment. And it just comes across as like, what are we doing?
How'd you guys feel when she comes out of that darkness like he normally does? Like, before she said that two scoops of dog shit.
Visually, I liked it. I hated the line, and I hated the line delivery because I mean, that's just kind of like filmmaking 101. You're immediately undercutting what just came before it. In doing that, the way you structured it, you thought as the filmmakers, we're going to ride the high of what Judy said into an even higher high with Laurie. And it's like, no, you just completely undercut the high that was into, hey, it's me again. I'm like, bro, you know what? She should have just come out of the shadows and, pushed him down there. Yes. Like, that's all you needed to do. She did not have to give a line. It's similar to me. I mean, it's not as bad, but it's similar to like, this is for Rudy, for all of them in Resurrection, where I'm just like, if you would have just been going at him with a chainsaw, it's kind of still stupid, but it would have been better than you giving this, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know.
Well, between that Face Off and the Busta Rhymes one where he starts doing karate on Michael, like, which one's the worst to you guys? Because I mean,
I gotta be honest with you, man. I know it's all subjective and it's all opinions. I argue that all the time, but I struggle to listen when somebody says that there's a movie in this franchise worse than Resurrection. It's just bad on every level. Like, technically, it is a poorly made movie. It's the only Halloween movie where I can go, there isn't a performance that's good. The writing is bad. Like, the effects aren't even good. Like, I'm just like, I don't see it. It's bad.
Like, if you mute the movie and you're just looking at the nostalgia of them using that Palm Pilot and like the internet and the parties and all that stuff, like, I loved that part, that nostalgia aspect. Or when she's in front of the camera and the girl screams and the glass shatters. Like, I was like, oh shit, that was briefly cool, but that's it. Like, everything else was just.
I like Jim. Jim is funny. The music major. I do Jim, but he
was funny. He was such a dude. That's such a dick, but he was funny as hell.
Mm-hmm. He had the right thing on his mind. I would have done the same thing being trapped in that house. Find the hottest girl there. Be like, what's up?
Yeah. No, I mean, he right off the bat, he was like, all right, so we're stuck here in this creepy ass house. We're just going to make the best of it. Yeah. Just hook up. Now, I want to talk about Sartain because, man, guys, I still, even after rewatching this film again, I couldn't come up with like my own thoughts on it. I was still confused the way he's like, shh, Michael. Like where he's like touching his face the way he did. Like, what was going on there? Could you guys explain it to me?
He's got a weird fascination with Michael. And what sucks is because when I mean, I'm sure everyone thought that, oh, this is our new Loomis,
The way he
this
talked
is
to you.
gonna- but now he's, trying to whisper sweet nothings into Michael's ear. It just gets really weird. And hey, you know what? It's his fetish. So
Yeah, I mean, I hate the character, man. I really, really do. There's a couple moments that I like. I understand the impetus for it. Like, you don't obviously have Donald anymore. So like, you want to, especially if you're trying to feel a lot like the original movie, you want to have a character similar. I get that. They handled him just the complete wrong way, though. I mean, for him to take the turn that he does, it's really dumb. Like, I've yet to find somebody give a good explanation for why Sartain needed to do what he did. And
Yeah.
some people will say, well, he wanted to see Michael face off with Laurie. Fucking why? Why?
Yeah.
Why does that matter at all? And if that were the case, why does he need to put the mask on? I want to feel what it's like. The fuck? What? Like, man, that was clearly them going, we're going to subvert expectations here. You're going to think that this is the new Loomis, but it's not. And it's like, y'all got too cute and ended up being real dumb. And not a fan. Wasn't a fan. But honestly, revisiting the Loomis storyline in a way and Kills was a failure too. The guy looked like Loomis, did not sound like him at all. To the point where I was actually kind of mad. Like, I was kind of mad when I watched it the first time in the theater. I'm like, guys, you had a great voiceover, in my opinion, in H2O with Tom Kane. I think he did a great voiceover in those opening credits. And like, but every other time they've tried to do Loomis, I did not like the voiceover in 2018 on the recording. I do not like the voice at all in the Kills flashback. It's probably best to just let that be. No one's ever going to be Donald. Like, we just need to stop.
yeah. Well, now you got it in the video game.
Oh, dude, so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I how does that get past like quality control? Like who was like, you know what? That's pretty good.
Stamps.
Yeah,
Give them what they want. Yeah.
that was the only thing I could take away from that trailer, and I like tweeted about it too. I was like, excited for a Halloween game, but holy shit, how did this end up being the voice? This is awful.
Yeah.
This is the worst impersonation I've ever heard. It's worse than Kills. I mean,
It was bad.
it's like an American man trying to do Donald's accent. It's like, whoa.
He's like, did he kill again?
Oh,
Tell
God.
me.
Oh,
6
God.
times.
Yeah, and then it's also just really weird that like the Loomis that I know personally from the movies that I grew up with would not be standing there with Michael execution style about to just put him down in the front yard. Like that, like visually, I hate that moment. It doesn't feel like Michael. When have you known Michael Myers to get like, oh, he's basically just, he's pleading for his life at this point. Never, ever, not once. He would go down swinging. He'd be killing all those cops until they put enough shells in him to where he didn't get up. That's just Michael Myers.
Dude, he did it in End. I mean, in Kills. I mean,
Exactly.
he faces off with everybody, so he couldn't face off there with these.
Exactly. But no, he's got to get on his knees and get ready for Loomis. And Loomis wouldn't have done that. Yes, Loomis put bullets in him in the original movie for sure. But like, that was only because in that moment, he felt like he had to. He had to because Michael was about to kill Laurie. Like, in that moment, if Michael were actually succumbed in cuffs, surrounded by cops, Loomis is not going to come up and be like, let me put a bullet in his brain. No, it was just dumb. There's a lot about the flashback scene that is great, that is truly great. It looks period. I love the music. I love the recreation of a lot of the shit in that scene. I do not like Loomis, and I don't think the Michael is all that good. I really don't.
Yeah. Do you think Sartain's character was kind of trying to show? Well, first, and ask everybody, do we think that Sartain could have been removed altogether? And then the second question to follow that is, do you think Sartain's character was kind of showing us the path that Loomis could have gone because of that obsession and just dedicating his life to Michael?
You could have removed Sartain because you could have had Aaron and Dana be the conduit for how Michael got to Laurie if you needed to do that. You didn't need Sartain. But furthermore, they wrote themselves into a corner because of removing the brother-sister storyline. you have to have a reason for why he'd show up there. He's not going to seek Laurie out. And so that's why I'm still, although in 2018 I was like, yes, they removed that, so now he's a motiveless killer again. I'm still firmly in the camp of brother sister, man. I really am. I just think that it adds more gravitas to that relationship. That showdown in H2O, the third act of H2O, is cooler than any showdown Laurie and Michael have ever had. Like, it just is, because it feels so important. Like it just has a feeling to it that none of the other movies had. So yes, you could have removed him, had Aaron and Dana be the conduit to get Michael there, and you could have not needed that in the first place if you would have just kept 2 in continuity. I don't see why you couldn't have done that. I think it would have also helped sell me on Laurie's response to the trauma being as extreme as it is if Halloween 2 is in continuity. I get that you're trying to, let's erase everything from before. Let's not give him a motive. But I actually think you kind of would have made it easier on yourselves to tell this story if Halloween 2 was in continuity.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we were talking about that yesterday, Jordan and I, and we're trying to figure out, and I forget his name, the nurse or the ambulance attendant.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy. So we were talking about that. We're like, people were saying in Reddit, it was this whole rabbit hole where it's like he does survive at the end. He's in the ambulance and Laurie's sitting there with him. Obviously, in part 4, we never hear the first name of the dad. But
it's supposed to be Jimmy. It is.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what we're thinking. We're like, that would have been kind of cool. But I do want to touch on Aaron real quick, because to me, I mean, I feel like this movie, right when you think something's going to happen with Sartain, for example, out of nowhere, it just changes. And I thought Aaron was going to be like the new Loomis. That's what I was thinking that whole time in the beginning. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like, this guy's like, I like him. Like, I think he could pull this off. And then nope, he just gets a shit.
Him and Dana might have been the best actors in that movie. Like, I'm just gonna be totally real with you. I really liked them.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that scream, I mean, that she did in that bathroom, like after she sees the teeth in her, dude, that was incredible.
I made a video last week of the scariest moments in the Halloween franchise, and that bathroom scene is on the list. I did not like the way that made me feel watching it in theaters. It felt so visceral and so real and so merciless and mean. Like, the fact that they kept cutting to Aaron bleeding out while he laid there helplessly, unable to help her, like, that's terrifying shit.
Yeah.
Like, that is terrifying. And you just have to imagine it from like your perspective. Like, if you're married or you have a partner, imagine being beaten to the point where you can't get up to help them and you have to watch them die. Like, it's just, it's awful.
And do you feel like Michael did that on purpose? Like let him live so he could watch? Oh,
yes.
Dude.
Yeah. Because he's a dick. He's a dick.
Yeah.
And he showed in all 3 of these Blumhouse movies. They kept that consistent. He is a dick. Like, he's an asshole.
That's what I loved about these 3. And I know a lot of people, I mean, again, this is kind of like The Witch, right? Where either you love them or you don't. And I felt like I really enjoyed that nastiness that they brought Michael to, where it's just, he was merciless. He was just torturing people that way, emotionally, physically. Like, he just did not care.
And if you guys notice too, not a lot of people got the easy way out in this trilogy. Not a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, he made them suffer. He made most of the people he killed suffer. And like, that's pretty hardcore.
I mean, that kid that he impales in that fence.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
You just have to imagine how that played out.
Yeah. Well, all of them, and then the girl who gets the lady, she gets stabbed with a light tube in her neck, and she survives later.
Dude, and he made her watch as she was presumably bleeding out while he just went to town. He used her husband as a cutting board. He was testing knives. Don't like this one. Don't like this one. Okay, I think I found the right one. And you're gonna watch the whole time. Like, just asshole, supreme asshole.
That scene at like when he's testing the knives, it's so brutal, but also kind of funny, his reaction, where because Jordan and I always joke around where if Michael Myers was a dog, he would be a German Shepherd, and he has that intensity, he has that head tilt, and when you just see him grab the knife and he's like, feels like a brand new car. All right, let's go.
Yeah. He was ready to take that baby out for a test drive. And I mean, like I said, dude, there's just something about, they captured Michael perfectly in this trilogy. There's a lot that you cannot like about this trilogy, and I will grant you that. But when Michael Myers is in the mask with the knife, he feels, he acts, he looks like Michael Myers. Michael from 78 was an asshole too. He staged a whole show for Laurie. Like, he's like, oh, here's your dead friend, and I got a tombstone here, and oh, your other friend is up here. I got her all like bunched up in this closet. It's gonna be pretty cool. The door's gonna open. Like, he's a dick. He's always been a dick.
He toys with them too, like you just said with Bobby, with the ghost, the sheet, and the glasses. You know,
and they kept that consistent in these movies. He is just. I mean, what else can you say? Like, you could literally, I can make a video tomorrow titled "Michael Myers is a dick," and like, he is. But Dr. Loomis is a dick too. That's a conversation for another day. But there's a lot of things Loomis does. I mean, he parks in a handicap spot in Halloween. He uses a little girl as bait in Halloween 5. He's a dick too. So I mean, but yeah, that's why they were perfect together. They're both assholes.
Yeah, when the poor girl's in the bed traumatized and he's just shaking her, he's like, oh, like stop, like pretty much telling her, he's like, stop fucking around and like scaring her. It's like, you want the boogeyman to come after you. And it's like, damn, dude, like this poor girl just killed her own mom, like went to see Uncle freaking Mike. And it's like, you're just treating this little girl like that. It's so messed up.
I watched Halloween 5 last night, and I love that movie, and I don't care what anybody says, but it just makes me laugh every time. In the finale where he's got Jamie, she runs to him, and she's like, "Oh my God, thank God it's Dr. Loomis." He's like, "Come get her, come get your little girl," and I'm like, "What the fuck? You're such a dick." Now, of course, it's because he's luring him to a trap, but like, what if you trip, Loomis? What if you tripped while doing that? You're both screwed. You just got a little girl killed. Like, dick, man. They're both assholes.
He's already limping around. He's burned. It's like, dude, like how fast do you think you're gonna move at this point? You know, like
I know.
Yeah,
I know. What up, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I saw Davey.
Oh, what's up, Davey?
And then
What's
Mark.
up,
What's up, Mark?
what's going on, Mark?
Dude, yeah, that thing is hilarious, man. Like, I freaking Loomis. It's funny because he's equally as relentless as Michael, but not as physically capable as Michael.
Yeah, it's because he's drunk the whole time. You know, yeah. You ever been drunk? You don't have the motor skills. It's as much as you think you do, you don't.
Well, just in 4, when the preacher, you can see it in his face when he gives him the drink. He's like, "Yeah,
oh yeah, fuck yeah, I want a drink. Are you kidding me? It's been like an hour. Shit, like yeah, no." But the funniest part too is like, Donald was actually drinking on the set. Like, Danielle talked about how his breath smelled like whiskey. Like, that dude was probably hammered, and I love it. It's perfect. He's supposed to be crazy and probably hammered in the movies, so it just works. Like, you know, I feel like hammered Loomis probably started in Halloween 2. You know, where he didn't really care anymore. But Halloween 4 and 5 was really when it was like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll hit a kid with my car if I have to get to Michael. Like, I don't care.
Dude, I mean, when you think about it too, it's like, who wouldn't take out a flask after a point where you've let everybody and their mother know it's like there's a killer out there. There's all these bodies. I've shot him 6 times. And people are like, so yeah, anyway, let's go do this. I just start drinking, dude. I'm like,
another and another example of him being a dick in Halloween 2, Deputy Hunt. By the way, we on the Halloween message board years and years ago when it still existed, there was a thread called Dr. Loomis is a dick. And there were hundreds of comments of all of us just going in like, oh yeah, he was a dick because of yada, yada, yada. But like Halloween 2, Deputy Hunt gives him a cigarette and his lighter. He doesn't light the cigarette, throws it down out of disgust after holding it for like 2 minutes like a weirdo, and then steals the lighter. I mean, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, you don't do that.
He's a dick, man. Like, people don't talk enough about it, but Loomis and Michael, they were perfect for each other because they're both assholes. Like, I don't know.
You know what? Maybe Michael got it. I mean, yeah, maybe he had like a little moment, kills his sister, and then he's in the hospital, and then he just gets worse because of Loomis for all we know. He just gets all those.
And then Mark says right there, another example of how Loomis is a dick. Ben Tramer's literally on fire, and they're like, oh, Lee, they think one of them was Annie, and Loomis is like, let me get in this fucking car. See you, Ben. Like, he's just cooking. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody.
Yep.
Now, since we're talking about Loomis, I want to ask you guys, you know, obviously, if he'd be alive today to be in that in this trilogy, do you think these movies would have been different with him actually being in there?
2018 would have been a lot better.
I think this they would have definitely written the story different for sure.
Do you think they would have stuck to the old recipe of the way Loomis was, and he's just kind of with his cane wandering around? Oh, I've shot him.
I think he would have definitely been the sage. Like, I think he would have definitely been like the Yoda, I think if they handled it right, how they would have had it is Loomis is present, but not all that present until the final act. And then Loomis feels like, okay, this is my moment where I have to put my monster down, basically. That Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster relationship.
And
yeah.
They would have killed them at the end of 18, I think.
Yeah, probably. I'm still wondering if we're ever going to see the alternate ending because they filmed it. It's got to come out on a special edition release eventually. The one where Laurie got stabbed and her and Michael essentially died together in the front yard.
See, that's and I don't know if I told you, GC.
No.
But I kind of I would like to see. I think that would have been a great story arc. Both of them dying.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been poetic
Laurie
in
and
so
Michael
many ways.
Both dying there at the end in the kitchen.
And the only reason they changed it was because the test screenings went over so well that they were like, we might want to make more. Yeah, let's go ahead and reshoot that. Because I get it. Jamie Lee Curtis was their big draw. Like, yes, you have Michael Myers, but it's no coincidence that, let's see, I would say, 6 of the top 7 highest grossing Halloween movies have Jamie Lee Curtis in them. Go figure. Like,
wow.
Yeah, that's one thing, man. I feel like it would have been so beautiful to see them just die together, and then they could have continued, they could have just done something else. Because
they were supposed to do that series, and I don't know if that's. It seems like it's brought up and goes the whole idea of evil.
I can give you guys a little inside baseball here. It's not happening. Long story short, the ideas that were pitched was one story about Haddonfield that was going to take place in, I believe, 1979. But they wanted to use Myers throughout the series, and Malik Akkad said no. He said, I don't want Michael Myers relegated to the small screen for an entire series. You can use him maybe once or twice, a final episode, the first episode, but he's not going to be prevalent. And the showrunners that they were working with on that didn't want to do that. They felt like they could not make an entire series about Haddonfield if Michael wasn't heavily featured. So Malik said, well, then tough shit. There was an idea for a Loomis series. That one pretty much went by. That one, I don't know if that even got into like early ideas. Malik was pretty against that just because he felt it was sacrilege to do that, especially with Donald no longer being around. How are you going to sell the fan base on a recasting of Loomis and doing an origin story or whatever? I just don't think it would have worked. And there was briefly an idea building off of Halloween 3, and Malik Akkad said, fuck no. And that is not because he doesn't like Halloween 3. He does. But you guys can put 2 and 2 together of where I got this information from. I'm not going to put it out here on YouTube because I don't need anybody coming at me for revealing it. But I can tell you, I know for a fact that this is what happened. And with the Halloween 3 idea, Malik's reason for not wanting to do that is the Akkad family is really burned by, still to this day, the reception of Halloween 3 back in the day. And and kind of in honor of his dad, he doesn't want to revisit that because that really hurt Mustafa a lot, how Halloween 3 went over. Like it was, the series lay dormant for 6 years, and he thought they really had done something special. And they caught a lot of blowback for that. So the idea for a Halloween 3 one was absolutely nixed. So right now, there's absolutely no traction whatsoever on any TV show. They're not even talking. Miramax has the rights technically in partnership with Trancas, but there are no talks of anything right now.
Yeah, I would much rather have another movie, if anything, but
yeah,
I'm kind of over TV shows.
So would I. But you want my opinion on the 3? I would have liked to build off of Halloween 3. I love Halloween 3. I feel like there's a lot in that world that you could tell, whether that be after the events, whether that be coinciding with the events, maybe in a different part of the country, before the events. I think there's a lot to mine there. And I feel like there's enough of a fan base now to where the fans would show up for it. But you want to do something that's going to have broad appeal. Look at Welcome to Derry. That is going to be probably one of the highest rated watch shows this year because everybody and their mother is going to watch that because everybody and their mother liked it. But if you tried to sell to mass audiences, hey, we're building off of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, a bunch of people would be like, the fuck? What? I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, there was a proposed alternate ending to the whole series, this trilogy, where it opened up you saw basically the Silver Shamrock factory with all the masks.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that, I
And
mean,
they were
I
actually going to
personally
be
would have
making a
loved that.
Myers mask. They were going to have a Myers
Right.
mask.
And I thought that would have been so cool.
They showed them in the movie too. Like those when there's the 3 kids wearing the masks from part 3. I thought that was kind of
Oh
cool.
yeah, they have a nod through them throughout. Yeah.
And there was actually, that wasn't the only alternate ending. Another alternate ending idea that David Gordon Green had was the final shot on Halloween Ends, where the mask is on the table right before it fades to Don't Fear the Reaper. You were going to see a Silver Shamrock logo on the back of the mask, and then it would cut to credits. That was another idea he had. And he said that as much as he wanted to make a connection to Halloween 3, like an explicit connection, not just an homage, like, oh, these kids are wearing these masks. Like, no, actually make it canon. He was like, it would have muddied the waters too much, and we couldn't have done it. And it's like, honestly, though, dude, yes, you could have. Halloween Ends was a grenade that you threw into the fan base. For better or worse, you knew it was your last one, so you were like, pull the pin, see ya. You could have done that. Fuck it. Let somebody else answer that question eventually if they wanted to.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. It's a nice bow, tie everything together.
Yeah.
You know.
Because I'm sick and tired of having to feel like Halloween 3 does not belong in my timeline. My preferred timeline is 1 through 6. And I say that and people will nitpick and be like, well, 3's not in that timeline. Fuck off. I can put it in there because it doesn't change anything. Okay. So whatever. But it would be nice if it's actually canon. I made a video like last month and I said the only mistake Halloween 3 made was explicitly saying Halloween was a movie and saying that they were not in the same universe. What would it have hurt to just have them take place in the same universe? It would have hurt nothing. Like, that story takes place in California. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. That has no bearing on the story. But to call it out that it was a movie, I was just like, that was just John Carpenter and Deborah being assholes. It really was. They were like, yeah, guess what? Michael Myers is done. We're moving on to bigger things now. Oh, yeah. How'd that work out for you?
You know, it really felt like the way they ended Halloween Ends with them talking about like it being like a virus, so to speak, like how it influences people and the evil spreads. It felt like they were setting it up for that continuation somehow, where they're like, oh, it just spread to somebody else, and that's how we're gonna do it.
Are you guys familiar with the other alternate ending of Halloween Ends that they actually did shoot?
Enlighten us.
With Laurie and Allison? Jordan, do you know about it?
Tell us.
Okay, so they did shoot this and they kept some of the footage in the actual like final cut of the movie. Allison was to go to Laurie's house the day after the procession, and Laurie was going to open the door and she was going to talk to her like through the door, if I'm remembering correctly, and Laurie was going to grab Allison by the throat. And when Allison like broke away from it, Laurie, I think, would have like a moment of lucidity and be like, you need to leave. Like, you need to go, get out of town. And she was going to lock the door behind her. And when you see Allison driving away from Haddonfield in Halloween Ends, she's crying in the car. They kept that in the movie because they felt like it still worked. You know, she's leaving Haddonfield. That was shot as her response to being attacked by Laurie and then leaving town, taking her advice and leaving town. And the idea was going to be that the evil transferred to Laurie. And so, yes, Laurie killed her boogeyman, but now that evil latched onto her. And they felt like that would have undercut Laurie's arc. And I agree. I do think it would have.
That reminds me of Jamie. Jamie at the end of 4. Yeah.
It makes sense because, right, it's good versus evil. Laurie, you see her in the first movie all wholesome and whatnot, and then you have Michael. But the fact that he gets her, like if they would have done that and he gets her to kill him, where it's like the ultimate opening, the ultimate sin to kill somebody else, to that finally the evil actually takes her over, that wanted to take her over all along. I mean, dude, imagine, like, that would be kind of interesting. It's like, that's what it was meant to be.
I just don't think, I agree. I don't think you can do that at the end, because this was the end for them. It was the end for Blumhouse and Universal. They knew that.
Yeah.
So it was going to be like, you know, setting up a booby trap, and then, I mean, a cliffhanger of all cliffhangers that you never had intention of answering. But more importantly, I really do think it would have undermined Laurie's arc, because the arc was that she overcame her demons and her boogeyman eventually. And she got to sit on her porch and talk with Hawkins about going to see cherry blossoms. And she deserved that moment. Like, she really did deserve that moment. And so, you know, I want to see the footage one day again. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I know Blumhouse has it, just like they have the alternate ending of 2018. I know they do. But the
Mhm.
only alternate ending we've ever been shown so far is Kills' alternate ending, which is dumb as fuck. Like, I'm going to put that out for you guys right now. The fact that they went back and said, hey, maybe ends shouldn't take place on the same night because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Totally agree. Laurie couldn't get out of a hospital bed, but a couple hours later, she's going to go Sarah Connor again and go fight Michael.
Yeah.
Like, that's dumb. I'm sorry.
Dude, I mean, that ending was very beautiful. It finishes the book. Michael's mask is just sitting on the coffee table, and it's almost like one of those, you know, it just.
I got misty-eyed. I got misty-eyed in the theater. Like, I won't even lie. As soon as Don't Fear the Reaper started, I got a little choked up, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, what a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've had a lot of amazing moments tonight. We've talked a lot about amazing scenes. Had a ton of fun. Nick, it's just such a blast hanging out with you tonight, man. But now, as we get closer to wrapping things up, I want to ask you guys. I want to go into our movie rating section. I want to start with Halloween 2018. Nick, let us know. Well, actually, as far as for Letterboxd, I want to start off letting everybody know. So Letterboxd, it sits at 3.2 out of 5. What rating did you give 2018 and why?
It's out of 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Am I being objective or subjective?
Oh, it's up to you.
This is your rating.
I'm going to be subjective because I like to ruffle feathers. I give 2018 a 3. It's above average. I'll never claim that it's not. But it feels very, very, in a lot of ways, it feels very, very much like a retread of things we've seen before, and in some ways done better. We've seen the character of Laurie Strode done better. We've seen generations of Strodes done better. Jamie and Josh Hartnett, I think, are both better than Karen for sure, at the very least. Michael's great. The music's great. The kills are great. But in a lot of ways, I do feel like it keeps its cards a little too close to its vest. And in kills, that's totally out the door. But 2018, they wanted to walk the line of bringing in the old fans while also introducing it to new. And it worked in a lot of ways, and in others it didn't. So I give it a 3.
Nice. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, that's probably a. I feel like I'm straddling the line between 3 and 3.5.
Go with your heart.
Let's go with 3.5. That's what my knee jerk reaction was. Let's do a 3.5. You know, it brought us back to a 78 style Michael, which I absolutely loved, and that'll always be important to me with this trilogy. Yeah, I thought it was. I just love the characters, and I know a lot of it was a way to hook the audience back in. Hey, we're bringing everyone back. Look, I'm a sucker. It worked for me, so I'm gonna go with a 3.5 on this one.
Nice. Well, for me, dude, I did the same. I gave it a 3.5. I enjoyed it. There was obviously certain characters like Sartain, certain things that were a little cringy, like certain thing with Karen, like you talked about earlier in the middle of the street. The way, like the reason she just goes in the house and gets herself stabbed instead of just staying with her daughter. Like I thought, to me, that was just kind of, I don't know. There were certain things, but I gave it a 3.5. It was fun to finally have a Halloween where Michael, like it's been so long since Michael looked scary, and it was just nice to see him, and again bringing certain legacy characters back and just sprinkling in certain things from all the other movies that in this one obviously they erased those, they never happened, but they still kind of snuck certain things in there, like when they talk about like, oh, I heard that she was his sister, and they're like, no, that's just a rumor, and like just certain things like that. I thought it was kind of fun that they did that. Now let's jump into Halloween Kills. This one has a 2.5 on Letterboxd, and which is, I was like pretty surprised. I was like, damn, like 2.5. That's pretty rough for the movie. But dude, what do you guys think?
So Kills for me is a movie that benefited from low expectations because I was disappointed with 2018. Loved the trailers for this thing though, so I couldn't wait. Some truly awful dialogue in this movie. Like all time bad. Don't care though. It is an uber slasher if I've ever seen one. The thing is gorgeous to look at. Michael's never been more intimidating. The effects are top notch. A lot of fan service here. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, similar to 2018. But you guys know how trilogies go a lot of the time. That middle movie is usually a bridge movie. It's usually a lot of filler. Kills is really filler, but it is damn fun. So I give it 4. I mean, I really, really do. I just on pure fun. Like it's really, really fun. I think I have this at 7 in my franchise ranking. So it's smack dab in the middle. There's 6 that I think are worse and 6 that I find better.
Nice. That's a good choice. What about you, Jordan?
I'm going to stick with my 3.5 rating, man. It's a Halloween movie, so it's not going to go. Well, I lied. I was going to say it won't go below a 3. There might be a movie in there that will, in the franchise, will go below a 3, but maybe just one. Yeah. But no, I'm going to stick with 3.5 on this one. And I think exactly what was already said. It's a fun movie, and it's almost a popcorn flick for horror films. To me, that's how I see it. It's a beautifully shot movie. I forget the kid's name, but the little guy who I think it's in Kills, right? It was in Kills when he's all scared about the boogeyman and he's like, nope.
That's 2018. You're thinking of Julian.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways,
but he is on the TV. He is on the news report and Kills.
That's right. And he shows up at the end on Ends. He's walking into that little percent.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, 18 or Kills. I'm gonna go with 3.5. That first shot we get of Michael against the firefighters is just gets my blood pumping. I love it.
As far as for Ends, I gave it a 4. I mean, dude, there was
for Ends or Kills.
I'm sorry for Kills.
Okay.
For Kills. And the reason why I gave it a 4, it was just because it was so beautifully shot. Like, I mean, like Nick, you're talking about it, dude, the aesthetic of it. I just felt like just seeing him walk out of that flaming house and just ready for carnage. He's like, all right, like I tried to kill you guys in a semi-civilized way, but now I'm just going to go full freaking like force and just destroy anything.
I've got a burnt piece of wood from that plot of land from the house.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Really?
Yep. In North Carolina, when I went last summer, I went to the plot of land, and there's still, because they actually burnt the house down, there's still charred pieces of wood all throughout that. And I picked one up, and I was like, this is a piece of wood that was literally burning on camera. So every time I watch Halloween Kills, I'm like, I have a piece of that. Yeah.
Oh, I got to drive over there, man. Hopefully it's still there. Dude, that's sick, man. Yeah, that scene, that's something cool to have. Just because of that scene alone was just incredible.
Oh, super nerdy. Not going to get me girls. I don't put that on my dating profile, but I own it. So
it should be up there.
Every time Kills comes on, he goes and grabs that plank of wood and just kind of.
I do look up every now and then on my shelf, and I'm like, yeah, I have a piece that was on this screen right here. That's pretty gnarly.
Dude, Kills is it was so much fun. Like, it was so much fun. It was just, I don't know. I get it. Like, I know there's certain cheesy moments, and it's true. There's the dialogue in there. It could be questioned pretty well.
They fixed the comedy. They fixed the comedy in this movie. They really toned it down. And when it is in this movie, it works. Like, specifically, Big John and Little John, I like them. Very much dry humor. It's not like, and I dig that. I also love where, she's telling him to go to the car when they think Michael's in the car, and he's like, hell no. Like, there's less comedy, but it works in Kills.
Yeah. And I did want to correct something, guys. I did make a mistake earlier about the Letterboxd rating. It's actually a 2.5. I know it's not too much of a difference, but I just wanted to let you guys know as well. Now, as we wrap up the evening, we're going to jump into Halloween Ends. This one did have the 2.1. And we've talked about earlier our admiration for the stuff that we enjoyed, that dark romance. But Nick, let us know, man. What did you rate this beauty? How'd you end it?
This motherfucker's a 5. And if I could go higher than 5, I would go 5. I'd go 5.5. Look, it is objectively one of the most well-made Halloween movies. It just is. The score's great. The cinematography, the acting is the best in this trilogy. I think it's not even close. The trick here is Are you going to accept and jive with the story direction, or are you not? If you can, I think you will eat this movie up. If you can't, I think you will hate this movie. I went with it. I went with it because it was something new. I was tired of the same old, but it wasn't just because it was something new. I believed Rowan Campbell. I believed his performance. I believed this. And yeah, man, I can't believe that out of this trilogy, because I had a blast with kills. I was disappointed with ends, but with 2018, but I did not think that anything in this trilogy was going to be like top tier Halloween for me. I was wrong. Ends is.
Isn't it crazy how you expect it to start awesome, and it's like it starts kind of, you start being a little disappointed, you start having fun, and then it's like a roller coaster. Each movie is a different emotion.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I'm going to be honest with you. I look back and I'm like, that makes sense though. They got more comfortable as they went along. They really started to feel like, okay, we can kind of toy with some new things. We can, 2018 very much felt like the fan service Halloween movie. By the time they got to Halloween Ends, it was David Gordon Green saying, this is my Halloween movie. Yeah. And I dig it.
He's like, I gave you yours. Now I'm going to get mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, Jordan, what about you? Don't tell me another 3.5.
No. This one bumps up for me, a 4.5. Halloween 78 reserves my 5 spot.
Yeah.
But this one, a 4.5.
I'm just an easy lay. I give multiple 5s.
Just giving them out here.
Halloween Ends is a great movie. Corey, that character, I think he could have had his own movie dedicated just to him outside of Michael Myers, I think. And it's the character arcs in that film are great. I like the way it ended, and 4.5 for me.
Dude, same here. I gave it a 4.5. And the reason why it was such a beautiful, such a beautiful film. I love the messaging behind it. I love, again, the cinematography, the music, that dark romance. I would have never expected that with Halloween movie. I mean, we're all used to, again, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, where it's just horny teenagers just hooking up. And this gave us a little bit more depth behind that. I mean, gave us more emotion. It kind of showed us the other side instead of just fun, let's drink, have a good time, but actually people with trauma and all these things. And it meant a lot. I thought it was a very bold way to go about it. I loved all the changes they made. I loved how they, like we talked about earlier, that Michael is just a vessel, but and like this evil is contagious and it could just spread. And it's like, instead of making him this immortal being, it's like, no, like anybody could be Michael under the right circumstance. But yeah, it was just incredible. And 4.5.
I'd also make the argument that even without the nudity and the teenagers, Halloween Ends is probably the horniest Halloween movie. Like this movie is just sexually charged. Like, you watch this with a significant other, and if you're both jiving with it, I got a feeling certain things are going to happen that night. Like, it's a sexy movie, man.
Dude, it's like they're like, how can we do this right? Throw in a little 50 Shades in here and repressed sexual, like, dude, it was so good. And their chemistry, it was so believable. I'm telling you, that line.
Part of me wants them to date in real life. Like, part of me is like, dude, Andy, if you're single, hey, you and Rowan, you guys should do that for the fans.
Dude, they paired off so well, man. Like, I believed it.
You can't teach that chemistry. Like, you genuinely can't. I've seen it throughout my life in certain movies. Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf, they dated in real life. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, they dated in real life. Like, when you have that kind of chemistry, usually it's like, oh, maybe there's actually something there that's not just for this movie. I don't know. You know what? It's Hollywood. They might have done some stuff.
You never know, man. You never know. That intimate setting, you have to put yourself in that mindset. You never know.
Yeah. Hey, man, some method acting goes on, so maybe that could happen.
Rowan was just like, look, we need to do this to get it into the role. And she was like, I totally agree.
She's like, just keep looking at me with that blank stare. And he's like, what stare? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, before we wrap things up, I want to say a quick shout out to KB. What's up, man? Thank you for joining us, brother.
What's up, man?
And then, I mean, guys, that wraps up our Halloween special for tonight. We talked about a little bit briefly on Halloween 3 earlier, and we're actually having another live stream tomorrow night for Halloween 3 with our buddy Chris, bearded film guy, aka the bearded booklet guy, and probably the bearded buff guy at some point. Who knows? We'll get him to create another Instagram.
Yeah.
But we've survived 3 movies worth of carnage, chaos, and controversy. And whether you love or hate this trilogy, one thing's certain: Michael Myers will never stay buried for long. Huge thanks to my co-host Jordan from the Movie Den. As always, thank you for joining me, brother. And our very special guest, Nick from Lost River Drive-In, for joining us on this Halloween massacre of a movie talk. Dude, thank you so much for jumping on. We went a little bit over. We talked about, apologize, but
no, you're good. I gave myself that hard out because I was like, I still have to edit a video tonight. I want to watch a Halloween movie tonight, and I want to get to bed like no later than 1:30 because I have to be at work at 9. Then I started thinking about it, and I was like, whatever. An extra half hour ain't going to kill me. So
well,
if I was not enjoying myself, you'd have known, because I'd have brought it up at 10:30 and been like, hey guys, I gotta go. Because I've done that before. So no, I enjoy. I told you guys, I'm a mark for this. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I talk a lot when I talk about Halloween. But
well, listen, man, that's the thing about when we do these like cinema rewind. Well, not this one in particular, but when we have our cinema rewind series, we'd really love to have you as a guest at some point. I mean, we just try to have fun with it, man. We nerd out. We have these conversations. We bring up the craziest concepts for certain movies because that's the point, right? Like we want to really rattle the cage a little bit. And I feel like we did that a little bit tonight. And dude, I'm so glad you had a good time.
Yeah, and you want somebody to rattle the Halloween fan base. Come to me. Because, buddy, my Halloween franchise ranking from 2 weeks ago. Oh, the comments. So yeah, I got a knack for that.
Dude,
I lost my fan card 3 years ago for liking ends. So I'm not a fan anymore. I'm not allowed to be a Halloween fan. It's been a rough life, but.
Well, we probably all lost it tonight too for liking it. So there we go. We could all lose it together.
There you go. Yeah. Let's light the match.
Hey, let's just burn it all down. Well, guys, everybody watching, thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like, subscribe for more horror breakdowns, special events like this, or cinema rewind series. We're in talks of hopefully doing something similar, maybe for Christmas. We'll see. If we get a good response, we'll see what happens. But before we cut off, again, I want to jump on to Nick. Nick, let everybody know where they could find you, man. Let's highlight your channel. Anything new you're working on, you want to let the people know.
So the Lost River Drive-In is where you can find me on YouTube and Instagram, but not on Twitter because there's an actual drive-in with that name on Twitter, that even though it's not an active account anymore. So it's the Lost River DR1. Tomorrow I'm going to have a video that I have not even started editing yet, but it'll be out tomorrow because I sacrifice sleep nightly to do this, which is going to be titled, Has Halloween H2O Aged Poorly? I'm going to do a live stream on Thursday, the day before Halloween, just because I'm trying to stream more and I haven't a ton lately. So I want to do it right before Halloween. And then as far as everything else goes, I mean, I really go day by day, guys. Like when I get home from work, after I eat my dinner and scroll on Instagram Reels for a little bit, that's when I decide what I'm going to record. And then I just go in my room and I record, and then I edit it that night and put it up the next day. And it's just like an endless cycle. But YouTube's gotten to a point for me where it's legitimate, like secondary income that I'm starting to rely on. So like I'm treating it more like a job now. So I don't know from day to day what I'm going to be doing, but you'll get something every day. So yeah, that's what I got going on. I have a couple irons in the fire too with some, I don't know how much I could say, Halloween franchise alumni that I'm going to try to line up. I'm trying to line up a couple more interviews.
Wow. Okay.
And one that I'll just give you guys a tease that I'm probably the most excited for, and hopefully happens very soon. Cops do it by the book. So, so yeah, guys, that's where you can find me. So thanks for having me on. I had a good time.
Man.
Dude, it was a blast having you on, man. You got Jordan worked up, man. He's over here. He's like, oh man,
sweating over here.
You know how tempted I was when I had Michelle Dawson on. We talked for like an hour, and then afterward we talked like in the green room a little bit. She was like, "You did such a good job. You're not an interviewer." I was like, "No, I've only done it a couple of times." She's like, "You really like. I really enjoyed talking to you. I could have gone for another hour." You don't know how tempted I was. Like, hey, so you single?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I didn't do it, but yeah. So I have a knack for wanting to get the beautiful women from the Halloween franchise on. So whatever.
You know what? That's not a bad knack to have, man.
No.
That's good.
I've been trying for years to get Danielle. I don't think that's ever going to happen unless I can pony up a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, what about you, brother? Let everybody know what you're working on, where to find you.
The Movie Den, you can find me here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. But right now it's this. This is what I'm doing this week at least, is focusing on these every night. So it's going to be a busy week for me. As far as long form content videos this week, it might be a little light, trying to get the more short form stuff out this week, just because this is my main focus for the week. And then later this month, I've been doing a series called Fear by Year, where me and a couple buddies, we go each year, pick a few horror movies out of that year, and we discuss the films. And we always have a guest. So Nick, we'll have to get you on one of these for one of the years that we talk. But that's coming up here later this month. And tomorrow we're going to be discussing Season of the Witch. And then Thursday, we're going to be talking the Thorn trilogy. And then pre-recorded Halloween 1 and 2 is going to be coming out Halloween night on the 31st. So be looking forward to that. That's about all I got.
Dude, there we go. I mean, it's a handful, man.
Yeah.
And then as for me, guys, if you're watching this on Face the Movies, the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to all that good stuff. You can find me on Instagram as well. I try to stay pretty up to date on Letterboxd. I've been trying to be really good with every time I watch something, rate it right away. Unless I got to sit there for a second and really marinate with it. But besides that, I do have a horror podcast. It's called Friday Night Fright Night with my buddy Lee from Cinema Whiplash. He's my co-host, and we do an episode. We release it every Friday, record every Wednesday. That's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and then I do the actual videos on my YouTube channel. Besides that, we have our Cinema Rewind series with Jordan and then Steven from After Hours. He was in here in the chat a little earlier. But every week, every Tuesday night, same time, same place, we just pick a movie and we just talk about it, dissect it. We usually try to have a guest on to hang out with us. But besides that, it's same thing for me with this week. The content's going to be a little light just because we're focusing on Halloween. It's been if you guys saw that trailer earlier, like it's time consuming. And I mean, Jordan, first of all, dude, thank you so much for making the thumbnails, for doing the posts. Really appreciate you taking that on, man. Reaching out to Nick and to a few people and kind of getting that stuff scheduled. So I appreciate you for that. But dude, guys, it was a ton of fun. Make sure to subscribe to these guys if you haven't. And huge shout out and thank you to the Movie Room and to Valoria Video. So just real quick, if you guys are looking for these movies, actually, let me put it to the right here. You check out the Movie Room. You might be able to pick them up. You could save 10% off using Jordan's code MovieDen10. And if you're feeling you want to spend a little more money, check out Valoria Video. You can use my code FaceTheMovies10, get 10% off your order as well. So check these two companies out. Small businesses, we're always trying to support them. They always have great stuff, great people. So they're a ton of fun. So if you don't already have some of the Halloweens, you could check them out. They have some good Halloween sales going on. Yeah. But that's it, guys. Hopefully till next week, we should be back to regularly scheduled Cinema Rewind episodes. But until next time, lock your doors, check your closets, and look under the bed because evil truly never dies. Later, guys.
See ya.